here's the Basics 1 practice sheet. Basics quizzes are going to be a pretty good part of your life in Algebra 2. The goal here is to just help you work on little things, catch up for a lot of kids, figure out some basic algebra. If you do it, you'll get better. If you don't, you won't. So they start off pretty simple, solve for x. And I see this take away 3, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it to the other side where it becomes a positive 3. You jump equality, you change your sign. And 8 plus 3 is 11. And then we divide by 3. And there's my answer, 11/3. Doesn't reduce, so I'm done with it. Your first couple of basics quizzes are no calculator. Number 2 is going to have to invoke the distributive property. We're going to have twice of 5x minus twice of 4 equal to 12. You don't have to show all that work. Most kids who know what they're doing would write, okay, 10x minus 8, still equal to 12. And we're going to move that negative 8 on over to the other side, make her positive, and we're going to get her 20. So we should have 10x is 20, assuming I haven't made any mistakes. And we'll get x is 2. So enjoy the first couple of quizzes. They're pretty simple. Number 3, we got x's on both sides. I am going to move my x's right and my numbers left. So on the left, I'm going to have a negative 8 plus 21 equal to a 9x minus a 5x. Because if you jump equality, you change your signs. Negative 8 and 21 should sum to 13. And the right-hand side is going to be 4x. We'll just divide our 4 out from both sides because the opposite of multiplication is division, and 13/4 is my answer. Number 4's got a fraction in it. I know you're going to be terrified of that thing. I'm going to subtract the 2 and get a 6. And I'm going to approach this in two different pieces. The opposite of division is multiplication, so I'm going to 5 both sides because of a property of equality. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. So 4x is now 30. Now I'm going to divide by 4. And I know that both 30 and 4 are even, which means they're divisible by 2. 15/2. Final answer. I don't want to see 7.5. All right, then we have the distributed and double distributive properties because you need to know how to do them, plain and simple. I'll try and show a good bit of work here. This would be 2x times 5x minus, because there's a minus, 2x times 8. Now 2x times 5x is going to be 10x squared, and 2x times 8 is going to be 16. Minus because it was a minus, plain and simple. Here's the double distributive property. Your teachers probably taught this with arrows. We're going to distribute the x to both pieces. So we're going to have an x times an x minus x times a 2. And we're going to move on here and hit this 6 to both pieces, plus 6 times an x. And here we're going to have 6 times a negative 2. Then we're just going to clean this stuff up. All right, x times x is going to be x squared. And negative x times 2 is minus 2x, plus 6x minus 12. And there's one more cleanup operation. We're always allowed to combine like terms. So 6x minus 2x is 4x. So final answer is x squared plus 4x minus 12. 7's the same as 6. We just have, bigger numbers. And I'm not going to show all the steps on 7 because I'm not that kind of person. 4 times 3 is 12. X times x is x squared. Moving on to the 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Do not forget about that x. Moving inside now. Negative 3 times 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. X. A negative times a positive is negative. Negative 3 times 5 minus 15. And then we have the cleanup operation. 12x squared plus 11x minus a 15. There we go. Easy peasy Japanesey. All right, function notation. Function notation really messes with kids. But all you have to do is let this x be whatever value is inside this parentheses. So f of 3 is going to be found by replacing x with a 3. That's all it is. It's a substitution property. Now 5 times 3 is 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. F of negative 1, well, this time we're going to let that x that we encounter be a negative 1. And 5 times a negative 1 is negative 5, and negative 5, take away 6 more, is negative 11. Contrary to what you might think, that's where it is. And that should be an easy section, but a lot of kids will miss it. All right, number 10 is average rate of change, known as slope. The formula for slope, and we abbreviate slope with the lowercase letter m, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We get these coordinates from the given pairs. I've always labeled the first one x1, y1, and the second one x2, y2, probably because that's how I was taught. And then I just do simple substitution. So I have a negative 8 minus a 3 in the numerator. And in the denominator, I have 9 minus a negative 2. Be very careful with signs here. Negative 8 minus 3 is negative 11. 9 minus negative 2 is positive 11. Negative 11 over a positive 11 is 1. Slope between those 2 points is rise 1, run 1. Bonus sections moving in. These aren't too hard. Given f of x is x squared minus 5, find the average rate of change over the interval negative 2, 2. We have a formula for this. Average rate of change, I like to call it ARC, just because I like to abbreviate. It is f of b. This is a big formula in Algebra 2, minus f of a, sitting pretty over b minus a. Now you get your a and b from the numbers you're supposed to plug in. So there they are. And then you go off to the side and you find out what they are. So if I want to find f of b, I'm actually going to find f of 2. If I want to find f of 2, I'm going to let that x be a 2. Now, 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. To find f of a, well, I plug in a negative 2. It's f of a negative 2. Now, when you're plugging in a negative, you wrap it. And you get the same exact answer. Because a negative 2 squared is a positive 4, and a positive 4 minus 5 is a negative 1. And I'm not surprised at what this is going to be. The answer is going to be 0. But anyways, let's go back and let's put stuff where it belongs. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. Sorry, it's 0, right? Yeah. Anyways, f of b is negative 1. We're supposed to take away f of a, which is also negative 1. Then we're going to do it over b minus a, so 2 take away a negative 2. Now, negative 1 take away a negative 1, remember taking away a negative is addition, is 0. And taking away a negative is addition over 4, and 0 over 4 is 0. Easy peasy, kids. Solve for x. This is done using the zero product property. This is an Algebra 1 skill. Basically, you just take each factor and you set it equal to 0. So 6x minus 5 equals 0. Or, it's actually and, 3x minus 15 equals 0. And we just do algebra. We add 5, 6x is 5. We divide by 6, we get 5/6. Or, we add 15 to both sides. We divide out our 3, and x is 5. Then we have a factoring problem. This factoring is huge. If you can't factor, then you will probably, your grade letter will be the first letter in factor. Factoring is going to be basically reversing something like 7 or 6. That's what factoring is. Figuring out what two things multiply together to get you the result. And if you have a trinomial, which means you have 3 pieces, the first thing you do is you just write down a double set of parentheses. Now, whatever goes here creates 7x squared. The only way to do that is to use a 7x and an x, because 7x times x is 7x squared. Whatever goes here and here creates negative 8. And the way you can do that is you can say like negative 4 times 2 or negative 2 times 4, or you can do 1 times negative 8, or negative 1 times 8. But you have to be able to put this together so that when you do the double distributive property, you recreate the original thing. So I'm just glancing at this thing, and I feel like it's going to be, you have a positive 26, huh? I'm going to put a positive 4 here and a negative 2 there. Now, why did I do it that way? Because I know how to double distribute. Let's see what happens. These two pieces create 28x when you multiply them, and these two pieces create minus 2x. And if you add those together, you get the 26x in the middle you were supposed to get. And that's factoring. Factoring is really guess and check. That's what it is. Guess and check. Most kids just like to guess. They don't like to check. And anyways, there you go. Forgive me, I'm tired and I'm not feeling well. Maybe my energy levels will get higher as the year goes on. I don't know.